We want to tie this into the bigger theme of Project Citizenship. So I want to bring up Dominique and Jim Graham from the Burning Man Communications team to talk about that.
Hey, why don't we start this with an exercise? Everybody stand up. Stand up right in front of your seat. And let's just clap. Let's just clap. Hey, great job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jim was a little worried that our presentation wasn't going to go well and we weren't going to get a standing ovation, so we got that out of the way. End of exercise. I'm Dom. I'm the communications manager at Burning Man Project. This is my colleague, Jim Graham. Title, senior something, special, yeah. We're here to talk about Project Citizenship. This is something you guys probably remember from the Global Leadership Summit, Global Leadership Conference, in 2017. Jim did a breakout session with Charlie Dolman announcing this initiative, and he'll give you some more details on the history.
Great. We've been cut to 5 minutes, so I'm going to just do jokes. We're really not going to talk about Project Citizenship this year. Now, very quickly, as Dom mentioned, we started Project Citizenship in 2017 primarily to address some potentially systemic issues that were brought to our attention by participants, by theme camps, mutant vehicle owners, things that we saw that came up as part of our post-event analysis. We have the ability to push out messaging through over 100 different channels, things like the Jackrabbit Speaks, Survival Guide, the newsletter that goes out to theme camps. Project Citizenship is in the coffee you were drinking out there in the entree right there. Though we quickly want to cut this short. It has been tremendously successful in the past. We pushed out messaging around personal responsibility. An example of that was after we abandoned 4,000 bicycles on the playa. Turn that sucker around with that. Leave No Trace was one year when we saw a dip in our success on that. It's a very effective program, and one of the most effective channels that we've got is every single one of you who are sitting out there right now. What we have found, because we actually do measure this, is what's the most effective way, and it's that face-to-face contact from people who know each other. Between Dom and I, we probably know 25, 30 burners max. But you all touch the vast majority of people out there, and we're going to be reaching out to you again this year for help with the 3 topics that we're working on. And I'm going to hand it over to Don to talk about the first one, which is commodification.
Well, just to give you a little bit of background, I mean, we look at all the reports that come out of the event every year and have a bunch of meetings. Internally, we get feedback from the community to come up with these focus areas. They change every year. They're up on the screen now: decommodification, greening your burn, and environmental sustainability, radical inclusion, and exclusivity. That doesn't mean that Project Citizenship is only these 3 things every year. It's everything. There are other pathways and other topics, but these kind of guide our work when we think about longer-term projects. So decommodification, I'll go a little bit into that one. As you guys probably all experience, Instagram culture right now as it relates to Burning Man has kind of gotten a little bit out of control. Every year we get hundreds of people reporting, people who tag their brands in their photos, people who do product placement on the playa and try to do sort of subtle advertising for stuff. I mean, it gets really complicated, and we can go into the details of what are examples of decommodification, but the focus area is to take a holistic look at not just, cutting the grass, so to speak, not just cutting your fingernails and telling people to take down their posts, but what are we doing as a culture to address this issue? Where does it come from? Is there something internally that the organization can look at and say, how are we unintentionally supporting this or not? We do a lot of work year-round to think about how we approach this issue, and we can talk a little bit more about it. There's a great journal post that we published a couple months ago, specifically around commercial posting, but the topic is so much bigger than that. So, Jim.
Yes, decommodification is the #1 issue this year. Based on all of the input we get from participants, we get over 1,000 comments from people. Everything else, all the other input we get, there are two others we want to look at. You heard a little bit about the draft environmental impact statement earlier this year. We are going to be under the microscope on how we treat the playa this year. So what you're going to be seeing is messaging related to greening your burn and environmental sustainability. We're completely reworking that section of our website to make it much easier to use, putting more new ideas out there about how you can motivate folks in your teams and in your camps to just be absolutely aware of everything. I have been guilty of walking past a piece of moop in my 23 years on the playa. I'm going to see if I can turn that around. We want to really instill that with everyone else. So you're going to see messaging coming out in the newsletter and elsewhere on that. The third one is radical inclusion and exclusivity. This is sometimes what Dom and I deal with is as much perception as it is reality. This was largely focused on mutant vehicles and people feeling that they couldn't get on a mutant vehicle. We're working to start the messaging on that. You'll see things coming from us. If you're going to have a private party, awesome. Perfectly cool with that. You send me an invite, it's going to be great. But what we really want you to do is give some thought to, if a member of the public who's not going to be part of that, how you explain it to them and when you invite them to come back into the camp. So it's just a little raising the level of sensitivity on that. So you'll see a little bit more coming on that. I'm getting the 30-second mark here. I just wanted to close out by saying thank you for everything you guys do. You are the absolute heart and soul of Burning Man culture, and we could not do this without you. I think everybody says that, but I really mean it.
Well, we're supposed to have one more slide. Don't drop the mic, Jim. I know you've been waiting all day to do that. If I can go to the next. There it is. Okay, so people often ask us, we hear about Project Citizenship, we see the journal posts, we see the communication channels. What can we do to actually help? How do we take this back to our communities? How do we affect our theme camp culture? We just yesterday, we being me clicking publish in WordPress, put this page up on the burningman.org website, /PC Toolkit. It's a page that's just a collection of a bunch of the writings, videos, resources that the community has produced and we've produced that can help you guide some of the conversations. Like Jim said, we can do all the communications and talking that we want, all the videos, but it really starts with you guys. Thank you.